That is difficult because sometimes the top moments are the more unexpected moments, and the great moments of, you know, Alistair and Jonny doing so well in London and then doing so well in Rio were, I wouldn't say expected, but we planned for a long time, and if they hadn't have achieved it, that would have been the surprise, you know. So I think what you get there is satisfaction. But some of the other great moments have been the surprises, like non-Stanford winning the World Championships, you know, beating Gwen Jorgensen. Georgia Taylor-Brown coming back from 2 years of nothing to competing, you know, with distinction again. You know, so I wouldn't like to say any one was the top, but there were there are lots of fantastic moments. That you could have consistent support for athletes who now were able to devote themselves full-time or near full-time to their training, and consistent support not only from coaching, but from the other disciplines, you know, nutrition and so on and so forth. Whereas prior to that, first of all, athletes had to sacrifice a lot to be full-time. They had to sacrifice a job and an income. And it wasn't easy to get those support services. And when you did, variable standards sometimes and variable availability. So it was much more amateur, fragmented. And now, obviously, the support services are more or less there all the time. Well, I'm the wrong person to ask because I never look back. I always just keep looking towards the next day and never really, and if I find my mind wandering to what if, I refuse to allow it to wander. I think I prefer not to consider, you know, the grass might have been greener. I think the grass is extremely green in Leeds, and that's the best place to be in the world. Not just Olympians, but the very, very best Olympians, the ones who really fulfill their potential, and look at what characteristics are common to those people. There's one that is very, very prevalent, and that is those people are patient. They're not in a great rush to achieve, and when things go wrong, there's not an enormous explosion and frustration. They're just patient. So, especially in endurance sport, patience combined with confidence are the two key attributes. Yeah, well, there's some research that's been done on this. Serial winning coaches by a colleague of mine down at Leeds Beckett. And he says they are serial optimists. So optimism is absolutely the heart of it. They have what he could describe as a helping gene. That is, basically, it's not about them, it's about helping others. And surprisingly, because he looks at these coaches across professional sports like soccer and basketball, as well as Olympics, they tend to have a very stable family life. So they weren't all over the place and had all sorts of things going on in their background. And even if they were away 200 nights in the year, it's something they had discussed and sorted with their family, and it wasn't a source of conflict. So, so there's three. Yeah, I think some of them are a bit disappointing actually when you get there, but the one that wasn't, and it was a real surprise to me, was the Commonwealth Games in 1994 was held on Vancouver Island in the west of Canada, and the ferry from the mainland, Victoria, to the island is probably the best ferry journey anybody will ever take, with wildlife and all sorts. So I think that the best place is on that stretch of water between Victoria and Vancouver Island.